got too many things to do right now. Say I don't know what you want, baby girl, come on now. Don't get turned.
What's happening, man? Say, man, how y'all feeling, man? Dolo, man, we back with another one. Say, man, we got the story of YF and Lucci and the shooters of the Miami boys. Say, man, he been in jail for a little minute. I ain't gonna lie, he been in jail, prison, wherever he at. He been in there for a little minute. You don't really hear about him getting talked about, but without further ado, y'all like, comment, subscribe. You better get straight into it on Brody.
YF and Lucci linked up with some bloods from Miami and had them sliding on his ops in Atlanta. But the situation went left from the jump. Now they're all facing years in prison, and we're breaking down the shocking beef that ended with shootings, stabbings, and murder.
Yeah.
YF and Lucci and his homies have been sitting in jail for years after they got hit with the RICO and murder case. Lucci wasn't just sliding with dudes from Atlanta, though. Back in 2020, Lucci linked up with some bloods from Florida called the Miami Boy.
And don't the feds got like a 98% conviction rate? Like, man, time, like, it's hard. Like, that's hard to beat the feds. I ain't gonna lie. Like, you're not beating the feds. Like, so, yeah. Y'all be out here running around with 15 people, man.
And court documents said they helped Lucci film music videos in a part of Miami normal dudes can't visit. CP3 and his homie Liz and Liddy both rep a blood set called 13th Ave, aka Bloodhounds or BH. BH is one of the most notorious gangs in North Miami. And this isn't the first time CP3 has spent time locked up. He was arrested back in 2015 for weapon possession and running from the cops. Then a couple years later, he caught a robbery charge and was locked up until 2020. Going to prison obviously didn't slow him down at all, though, because a few months later, he was in Atlanta shooting at Lucci's ops. In December 2020, YF and Lucci, his homie James Adams, CP3, and Liddy went sliding into op territory. According to reports, Adams was reported.
Ashley knows that some of our most important traditions and memories start around the dining table, from cozy breakfast nooks to formal dining.
Recording the whole thing on his cell phone, but he had no idea that he was about to lose his life. They spotted some dudes on the street, and that's when CP3 and Adams got out of the whip and started letting off shots. They caught one of the dudes in the stomach, but the other side busted right back and hit Adams in the head. YF and Lucci was the one driving, and he sped off when the ops started shooting back. Adams might have survived, but instead of taking him to the hospital, his homies pushed him out of the whip and left him to die in the street. A witness found Adams bleeding out on the road and called 911 for help. She told the operator that he was still alive, but by the time they got to the hospital, it was already too late, and James Adams was pronounced dead that day. It's not clear exactly how the cops were able to track Lucci and the other dudes down so fast, but in January 2021, police issued warrants for the three of them, and Lucci turned himself in. Rumors say that Adams basically reported everything before he was shot. So if the cops found his phone after his homies left him in the street, they probably had everything they needed to make the arrest. After a couple of years fighting the case, Lucci, CP3, and Liddy all took plea deals instead of going to trial. They were all facing murder and RICO charges and could have ended up with life in prison or the death penalty. But instead, CP3 went down for 25 years, Liddy got 15, and Lucci was handed down a sentence for 10 years in prison and another 10 on probation.
I ain't know he got 10 years. I ain't gonna lie. YF and Lucci got 10 years. I ain't gonna lie, bro. Lord. And probation. I ain't gonna lie. He waxed off that one. I ain't gonna lie. They waxed him. I ain't gonna lie. They just waxed that. But he did. You know what I'm saying? See what he did? But Lord, 10 years. I ain't gonna lie. 10 years? Nah.
CP3 and Liddy might have had some clout if they went to jail in Miami.
He do that 10 years. I do probation. You gotta abide by some more strict rules. Like, Lord.
But getting locked up in Atlanta almost got CP3 killed. In August 2023, a video came out showing him getting jumped and stabbed by a bunch of dudes who are allegedly affiliated with YSL. Luckily, CP3 made it out alive, but he's not the only one who almost died. After Lucci got locked up, someone tried to shank him behind bars, and Lucci claimed there was a bag on his head. According to reports, two YSL affiliates named Big Brisk and Antonio Sumlin asked Young Thug for permission to kill Lucci, and a YSL affiliate named J-Man is the one who allegedly stabbed him. The war between YF and Lucci and Young Thug's YSL crew has been going on for years, but back in the day, everyone was cool with each other. Young Thug and Lucci both came up in an area of Atlanta called Zone 3. Back in the day, Thug repped a blood set called the ROC crew, aka Raised on Cleveland. Then Thug later made his own lane and started YSL. Lucci grew up pretty close to where Thug is from, but he repped a blood set called Atlanta Blood Gang, or ABG, which is also under the umbrella of the Inglewood Family Bloods. Lucci wasn't even trying to be a rapper and was focused on making money in the streets, but his brother K convinced Lucci to hop in the booth and start the YFN movement. One of Lucci's biggest supporters back then was a dude named Big Nut. Nut was known all over the city and had ties to everyone, including Thug and ROC Bloods. After Lucci decided to start rapping, Nut is the one who kept pushing him and even linked Lucci up with a local manager named Fly. Fly was also managing Rich Homie Quan, who had strong ties to Thug. Quan and Thug had been linking up in the studio and planned to drop a collab tape, but instead, Birdman added them to his Rich Gang crew and started pushing them both hard. Rich Homie Quan and Thug dropped the track Lifestyle, which went platinum, and their project, Rich Gang The Tour Part 1, ran up crazy numbers too. Thug and Quan looked like they were going to take over the whole industry together, but then in 2015, everything fell apart out of nowhere. Fans who weren't tapped into what was happening inside Atlanta were shocked.
Nah, that Thug and Rich Homie Quan song, hey, I ain't gonna lie. Young Thug and Rich Homie Quan, they had it a lot. Like a 20, like, I was just still young on what. So I was still listening to Rich Homie Quan. And I was like, I had to be like in what, 6th grade, 5th grade. That was like around like what, 24, something like that. Rich Homie Quan was Jai Amy. Don't sleep on Rich Homie, but Rich Homie had his moment. Don't even know that.
But it turns out that behind the rap beef, there's a deadly war going down. In January 2015, Big Nut was standing outside a barbershop when shooters rolled up and shot him to death. Rumors were flying from the jump that YSL was involved somehow, but it took years for the cops to make any arrests. Now, 5 YSL affiliates have been charged, and the cops say that Thug is the one who rented the car used for the hit. Rich Homie Quan announced he was leaving Rich Gang just a couple months later. Some people think it all started with Big Nut dying, but Thug might have actually been involved with Quan's dad getting shot too. A few months before Big Nut was killed, Quan's dad was shot inside a barbershop and barely survived, and according to some paperwork that leaked, Rich Homie Quan thought Thug had something to do with it. Quan's dad allegedly had issues with Birdman and didn't want Quan to sign with him, and that's why Birdman and Thug allegedly wanted him dead. Quan rapped about his dad getting shot on the track Daddy and said, "When I see him in that ICU room, boy, you know I went crazy, because I couldn't see my daddy like that. That's my baby. In other words, he my best friend. Talk to him daily. Did it to him, I hope they praying to God, but he can't help you in the situation." If Rich Homie Quan thought Young Thug was involved with his dad getting hit up, it makes sense that he would fall back from him. Their beef left a lot of fans disappointed, but Thug and YFN Lucci's war was about to leave a lot of bodies in the street. The first time fans heard about the beef was when Lucci started sending shots at Thug on social media. He made posts about hooking up with Thug's fiancée, Jerica Carlea, and even posted some alleged DMs where they were talking about taking a shower together. Thug didn't really clap back at first. He just tweeted a shout out to him.
Never understood why Negroes do this, man. Like, I don't know. I can't find a good word to say it, but it don't make you look soft, make you look like a you know what I'm saying? Make like a little you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't see why Negroes did this, man. They just start trying to do it. Like, honestly, bro. How old is this? This from 2016, gang.
Lucci and called him a young king and said he was trying to get on. Then Lucci took the disrespect to another level by tweeting a video of Thug's daughter with the caption, #LongLiveNut4Ever. Everything cooled off for a while. Lucci and Thug went back to popping off in the industry with their own careers. Young Thug dropped his mixtape Jeffrey in 2017 and ran up huge numbers. Plus, the cover art went viral because Thug was wearing a dress. Lucci kept his own momentum up by collabing with artists like PNB Rock and dropping new projects. For a couple months, it seemed like everything was cool. But then in June 2017, Thug dropped a project on Tupac's birthday. He told everyone on Twitter that he did it because he's a new Tupac. Then Lucci tweeted, "Pac would have never wore a dress." So Thug clapped back and said, "Thank God you were able to take care of your mama. Be humble. Doing too much can become..."
I'll keep your litter natural. No chemicals in your nostrils. Just corn belows.
From a deep sleep. At first, YFN Lucci and Young Thug were just taking shots at each other on social media. But in 2018, everyone realized how deadly the beef really was. Thug's homie YSL Duke was leaving a strip club in Atlanta when 2 dudes started following him. Duke knew something was up and turned around to see who it was. And that's when one of the dudes upped his strap and started letting off shots. Duke ran behind the vehicle while the shots were popping off and managed to get away without getting hit. Someone later got booked for the shooting, and rumors were going around that Duke had snitched on him. But then some paperwork came out that proved he wasn't working with the cops. Thug and Lucci went back to the social media beef, and Thug said he was going to slap Lucci the next time he saw him. Then just a few weeks later, Lucci's car was shot up. Police rode up to the scene and found Lucci's G-Wagon full of bullet holes and somebody inside who had been shot 2 times. Lucci wasn't even in the whip, but the cops think he was the target. Right after Lucci's car got hit up, someone went to Big Nut's grave and spray painted the word "slat" on it. Slat is a term that Thug and his YSL crew are always using, so everyone immediately thought they were the ones who painted on Nut's grave. That wasn't the only time YSL allegedly tried to kill Lucci though. Back in 2016, Lucci was in Florida when he got the call that his mom's house had been shot up. Lucci drove straight there to make sure his mom was all good. Somebody had dumped almost 20 bullets into the crib, but luckily no one got hit. Then another time, Lucci was at the studio when someone told him the house got hit up again. And this time, his mom and her best friend both got hit in the legs. Lucci's baby mama, his daughter, and his brother were all in the house too when it went down.
Hey, could you imagine? You get a phone call, somebody shot your mother crib up, and she hit the leg, like, bro. You got all this money, bro. Why want to be moved? Like,
but thankfully, none of them got shot. A lot of people thought YSL was behind the shootings at Lucci's mom's house. And the prosecutors in Young Thug's RICO case claimed Thug bragged about the shooting on his track Bad Boy when he raps, "You better watch the way you breathe around me, for that breath be your last, boy." Smith & Wesson 4.5 put a hole in his heart, "Better not play with me. Killers, they stay with me. I shot at his mommy, now he no longer mentioned me. I had on Margellas when I shot at them. Act like you want war, and they gon' smoke you like a blunt." Thug's homie Gat Gotti also allegedly raps about the shooting too on the track Take It to Trial, where he said, "For slimes, you know I killed. Trial, I done beat it twice. State, I'm undefeated like. Feds came and snatched me, I don't know. No point in asking. I was on Cleveland, stuck like a magnet. I'll shoot at your man." Thug is still fighting his RICO case right now and could end up getting a life sentence, but Lucci might be coming home in just a few months. Back in June 2023, news broke that YF and Lucci had been offered a plea deal from the prosecutors. They wanted Lucci to plead guilty to felony murder, aggravated assault, racketeering, and violation of the Street Gang Terrorism and Prevention Act, and still give him a 20-year sentence. Lucci would have had to serve 17 of the years behind bars before he could walk free, so he turned the deal down and decided to take the trial instead. Taking a RICO and murder case to trial is a risky move. You never know what's going to go down in the courtroom, and you could end up serving the rest of your life behind bars. But Lucci definitely made the right move in this situation. Half a year after they offered him the first deal, the DA came back with another offer. Lucci pleaded guilty to one charge of violating the Street Gang Terrorism and Prevention Act, and in exchange, all his other charges got dropped. Lucci still got hit with a 10-year prison sentence and 10 years of probation after he serves the time, but Lucci could be out of there in just a few months. The judge gave YF and Lucci time served on his 10-year prison sentence, and he's already been locked up for 3 years. He's eligible for parole after serving 40 months, which means he could be free in less than 4 months. Right after news broke that Lucci had taken the deal and was going to be free soon, rumors started flying that he agreed to testify against Young Thug during his RICO case. YF and Lucci's lawyer hopped right in immediately to squash the rumors though, and said it was all cap. According to him, Lucci has nothing to do with Thug's case, and Lucci told the prosecutors over and over again that he doesn't know anything about the situation Thug is facing. While Lucci was accepting his plea deal, he apologized to the family of James Adams and said his heart goes out to them.
First off, I want to say my heart goes out to my friend James Adams and his family.
Then he apologized to his own friends and family for putting them through this crazy situation for the last few years.
Also, I want to apologize to my family and my friend for putting them through this stressful process.
It turns out that Lucci might not be the only one coming home soon. After the news broke that CP3 was hit with a 25-year sentence, he hopped on social media and said, "Oh, you thought it was over for me," with a bunch of laughing emojis. It's not clear where his case really stands, but it sounds like there's more going on behind the scenes that nobody knows about yet. So tap in for updates when more info comes out.
Say, man. YF and Lucci, man. Young Thug, I feel like Young Thug gonna be home. Young Thug gonna be home. Thug gonna be home for sure. There's too much going on here. YF and Lucci, he got a little bit more time. Just a little bit more time. But nah, though, it's all over the place. Y'all be safe, man. Y'all don't be out here doing no dumb stuff on Brody. Y'all want to be in prison. Y'all want jail. Don't none of that. Without further ado, man, y'all like, comment, subscribe. And yeah, we out there, John Brody. Y'all be safe, man.